Hey guys, I'm back, and today I'm going to be working on an app game. Um, I was hired by a company called Headphone, and what they do is they create episodes for dramatic stories. And my job is to come up with a dramatic story and break it down. So today I will be breaking down one of those stories um, to show you the background of what I have to do. And a lot of the times, once you see it, once I get more into it, you'll get more of an understanding of what I have to do for this and what everything else is. So let's hop on over to the screen right here. Get it up and going, and there you go. So as you can see here, this is called Mental Health Hospital, and what I have to do is I need to figure out pretty much the story for them. I gotta make sure that everything makes sense. Um, but what I really have to do is I really have to break down the script into three scenes only with less narration talking. They want it purely the characters talking in this. So unfortunately, when I have it, it's a lot of okay, narrator says this happens, narrator says this happens, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, what I have to do is I have to go in there and be like, okay, yes, this is happening, etc., etc. I have to go and be like, okay, well, narrator sets up the scene, and then one scene will be whatever these two are talking about, set up the drama, and then boom, the narrator sets up the next scene, and then there's some drama, and then the narrator sets up the next scene, and then the drama, and then the cliffhanger for episode one. So with that being said, what I have to do is I got to go back through this script and fix it. So because I have right now, it says Steven is hired as a security guard to watch over a mental health hospital while it's being closed down. He has to stay overnight as security. He gets into his routine, making phone calls to his friends, listening to music, but when he walks through, lights start flickering, and eventually all lights turn off. He goes to the breaker room, tries to turn it on, nothing works. He uses his flashlight to find the breaker on the other half of the building. The equipment that left behind starts moving in front of him, and supernatural events start to occur. He hears voices whisper to him, it says death. It freaks him out. He tries to leave, but the door slams shut, and he can't pretty much escape no matter which way he goes. Um, and then one of the ghosts comes out and pretty much goes to grab him. So what happens here is that what I'm gonna do for it is I'm gonna be scene one. I'll set up scene one will be like after narrator talks about Steven, about him being a security guard. A ghost starts haunting him. Because it's less narration, so I need to add another character. So there's more dialogue. There's more talking in it. So what I have to do is Steven's one of the security guards. Now I got to go add another security guard. So at least it's them two able to talk, at least on the radio or in person, to build up the suspense, build up the stuff that's going on, and so to allow it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another character on here, and we'll get going. Sorry, my mother is calling me, which means I will be right back. I'm so sorry.
in because I wasn't feeling good. I felt like passing out, so, and my face turned red, and they're like, "Uh oh, you better get in the water." So I went in the water. I had Taylor's hat on, drank water, and then cooled down, felt better. Um, and then so the kids were out there, and then Rochelle went out there, Taylor, we were all out there.
All right. Perfect and perfect. So, okay, so here we go. I'm writing the story. I added another character on here, as you can tell. I added David. So, I try to do scripts and stories without so many of the same letter in the name, so it's much easier to follow, to figure out, and stuff like that. Oh, excuse me. So, as you can see here, um, I got Steven as a security guard, but he's pure of heart, right? He's gonna live. He'll be make it to the end, or he won't. But David definitely does die. So what I did was I added another character so I can get the banter, the dialogue going between the two characters, which for me is one of the strongest things that I have to do. So for dramatic, I got to build up drama. So I'll have them like walking around together, and then after I have them walking around together, what I have to do next after that is I need to. I'm gonna probably introduce a ghost to it, because once I introduce the ghost on there, we'll be able to get some more scary stuff happening, more dialogue, more of that type of stuff that's going on in there, and that's kind of what we're trying to shoot for is drama. I'm gonna rewrite this whole thing. I'm just gonna kind of be like scene one, and I'm kind of just gonna instead of doing a whole synopsis of the episode, I'm just gonna be like Steven and David. Oops. And David must um, turn the breaker on since all power went out. They're in the basement when things start moving. They get locked in and a ghost shows up. Then we'll get scene two. Right. Scene two will kind of it's kind of going to go show. Let's see. Steve and David must turn on the break room since all the power went out. They're in the basement. When things start moving, they get locked in, and the ghost shows up. They're able to turn the breaker on and escape the room. Stephen and David are at the front door trying to escape when the door slams shut when they open it. David gets on his phone and looks up why the hospital is closing. He finds out that there has been mysterious deaths. Scene 3 is they make their way to the rooftop, but see no way down without being seriously injured or killed. So I said the ghost. So I should put like a ghost shows up. We'll have a ghost, right? So because you can't really see what's going on, right? So you don't know which ghost it's there. Um, and we could just say Joe appears and his powerful aura pushes them both off the roof. And then it ends there. So that's where that ends. Joe lifts him up in the air. Woo, so this is where he gets attacked. This is where Mary yells, no, the window's shattered, injuring Steven. So pretty much I'm speeding up what's going on. I will see what they say for this, if they like it or not. So what I have to do next is I kind of sped it up, right? They want 3 scenes. So the first thing is like, this place is haunted. Episode 1, it's haunted. We learn who these characters are. Like, Steven is this guy who's like, nah, I'm taking care of these people, David's like, man, these girls are always on me, man. They get mad because I don't hit them up, whatever, like whatever. Women are women, kind of whatever, just a bad person in the sense that he just hurts people. And so then you learn that in the scene 1, and you get to scene 2. Scene 2 is they're trying to get out of there. He's on his phone. They find out, oh shit, this place is haunted. People are dying. Oh my god, like, let's get the hell out of here. Shoot, let's try the rooftop. The rooftop might be easier. We can try to climb down. They get to the rooftop and they're like, dude, hell no, this is way too high up. There's no fire escape. There's nothing up here. Ghost shows up, whooshes by. They both fall off, and it ends with them like falling off. Boom, cliffhanger. They going up by the next episode. Scene 1 is Steven and David. Edge of the edge of the roof. He's hanging on the edge of the roof. So then we got Steven and David are hanging off the edge of the cliff. David is just hanging on to him. David ends up climbing up, and then Steven's like, hey, all right, now help me up. David's like, nah, man, I can't get near that edge. I'm sorry. He's like, dude, you need to help me up, man. I'm slipping. Come on, dude, help me up. He's like, nah, man. What if the ghost comes back? What if I'm not looking and it knocks me off? Like, I can't risk it. I don't want to die, man. He manages to get back up, and then he's pretty pissed. Steven's pissed. Steven's pissed at David, and then you get scene 2 of this episode is pretty much going to be see what could do. I guess they can get back in, and then once they get back into the building, then they can be like, okay, like we're safe, we're good now. Like, what should we do? I guess I can try to. What did I have episode 3? Steven is in the restroom using the first aid kit, and Eric shows up in the mirror. Okay, so that could be like. I'll just have to put the both their names. Steven and David get back into the building when Amir and Sally appear as ghosts. And tell them for them to live, they both must die, or their spirits will be trapped in the hospital forever. David flees, leaving Stephen with the spirits. One lifts him up. And not one, I should say who. Sally lifts Stephen up in the air while Amir chases David. And I'm kind of just going back and forth through what they are. So third scene, third scene will pretty much be Amir catches David, lifts him, or chokes him, I guess to say. Chokes him. He runs to David when Mary appears and screams, breaking the windows, injuring Stephen and David. It's a little more than I guess it's a little more than just the one scene, I would say, because pretty much Amir catches David, Stephen frees himself, and then I'll just say he gets over there, he fits, and then injuring Stephen and David. So now we're pretty much back here where Stephen's in the restroom getting a first aid kit. So what I can do is I can pretty much leave that because it's a lot of dialogue. So Stephen, I guess, and David. Oh, what I hit caps lock on accident. Stephen and David are in the restroom using the first aid kit. Eric shows up in the mirror. The mirror freezes over. The mirror freezes over. Not again, but it just freezes over. Stephen talks with Eric and answers by talking. Eric's able to talk now. David trusts Eric because he's not attacking them. Eric tells him that Stephen is I'm just gonna put there. they're close to finding out what happened here with all the dead bodies. Seems he just wants to leave and doesn't want to find out what happened. Eric tells them that he's being haunted because the truth does remain hidden. He says he'll protect them if he agrees. Figure it out. Um, I should say they say all the spirits from the dead are out for them. Are out for them. Every time cute spirits, they get stronger in the world. That's why they're after him. They agree to help. There you go. Murray shows up again, but cannot talk. She opens her mouth and the mirror breaks. Eric vanishes and Joe shows up and throws Steven through one of the windows. Joe's able to talk and tells him that he has until midnight and Steven dies no matter, and they die no matter what. That he should stop running, allow them to take that they should stop running, allow them to take their soul, because now it's two, to take their soul. Steven is told that human souls can give them unimaginable power. They're told that they're... Alright, let's see if that makes sense. Steven and Dave are in the restaurant, so it's just going to be one scene for this one for the app. So one scene, it's just going to be a longer one. Kind of exposition. It's kind of, they're going to be talking about what's going on, and then you get the ultimate, not the ultimate, but the like, okay, your time is till midnight. I guess I should put sunrise. That they have until sunrise. To sunrise, and then they die no matter what. Okay, so Steven talks to him. Eric answers. David trusts Eric because he's not attacking him. Eric tells them that they're close to find out what happened here with all the dead bodies. Steven says he just wants to leave and doesn't want to find out what happened. Actually, what we'll do is put David because it's David. That's how he is. He just wants to leave. Eric tells him that he's being haunted because the truth must remain hidden. He tells him that he'll protect him if he agrees to figure it out. That all the spirits here are dead or out for them. Every time the spirit kills, they get stronger in the real world. That's why they're after him. They agree to help. Mary shows up but cannot talk again. She opens her mouth and the mirror breaks. Eric vanishes and Joe shows up and throws Steven through the window, through a one-way window. Joe is able to talk and tells them. So yeah, so here we're gonna have. They want no more than 5 characters talking, which is good because I only have Joe, David, Eric, and Steven. Okay, so there's going to be one episode or one, excuse me, one scene. So I got characters of Steven, David, Mary, Eric. I might get rid of Sally because she doesn't have a line right now. Joe so far is the only one that talks, but then you see them as well. So we'll see. I might make them talk later down the line. So then we're going to episode 4. And for episode 4, we have to... Because there's only 5 episodes. So now we have to really jump into, like, okay, they have till sunrise to figure out what's happening to the spirits. How do they release them? So far, they kind of introduced... We introduced a pipe, so we got like an iron pipe now, so we kind of have some way to fight the spirits off, so they already have that, but now they need to know how do they stop them altogether. Let's see, scene 1, Eric fights Joe off. Eric shows him how to stop the spirits, and that's what's fire. Then he helps Steven find the body of the missing patient. Steven is excited that he'll be able to leave. He rips the body out of the wall. Eric puts his spirit's hand through his chest. Steven is shocked and confused. Eric explains that he killed all the spirits. And they do what... Okay, so pretty much this is where the betrayal happens, where Eric shows his true colors, that he is evil, that he is the one killing these people, making these spirits, feeding off them so he can become stronger. He gets to have that energy. So we're going to do... We'll leave with Eric fights Joe off. So pretty much the narrator is going to say Eric fights Joe off. Eric shows him how to stop the spirits, and that's with fire. Then he helps Steven find the body, and then that's where the scene begins. Is he's excited that he's able to leave. He rips the wall. Eric puts his hand through him. He's shocked. Eric explains that he killed the spirits, and they do whatever they must obey his every command. He's tired of killing and just wanted to do a cat and mouse game this time. He starts pulling Steven's soul out when Mary appears and screams. Eric's spirit vanishes and Steven collapses. Joe, Amir, and Sally appear while Mary fights them off, and as losing, Steven takes out his lighter, lights the bed sheets, and burns Amir. His spirit explodes. Eric comes in and attacks Steven, but he burns Eric too, and he explodes. So see, there's a lot of narration going on in there, and so the thing is when you look at this, we have to figure out more dialogue and less narration talking. Interesting. So what we need to do is we need to figure out why and how I can get more dialogue in here. So the narrator will be like, okay, cool, yeah, like Eric did this, yada yada yada, he rips his hand, and then pretty much Steven talks and they have their little banter here, he must kill everybody, he starts pulling, so, and then the narrator will be like, he starts pulling Steven's soul out when Mary appears and screams, Eric's spirit vanishes and Steven collapses. So then that could be one scene, right? The narrator will be like, okay, they collapse. So then we'll have scene 2, and scene 2 could be. So remember, it's gonna be starting off with with narrator. So narrator can be like, we can say like Mary lifts Steven up, and so we can say this, but now the problem is I forgot one thing, is that I need to introduce David. So then he helps Steven and David find the dead body. Steven's excited that he'll be able. David is excited. David is excited that he'll be able to leave. He ripped. I'll say they. They rip the body off from the wall. Eric puts his spear hand through both their chests. Steven is shocked and confused. Eric explains it. Da, 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 da. He takes out David's spirit and starts pulling Steven's out when Mary appears. Eric screaming, boom. Steven collapses. So here I introduced the death of David. So now that he's gone, because now it's going to be more of the talking of Mary and Steven. My problem is here is that like I can introduce it saying, oh, Mary lifts him up, flies him to the front door, Mary appear, and then Mary fights him off. And while Mary fights, he explodes them, and Eric explodes. Mary tells the original story of how she was the first murder and death at the hospital, but she took Eric along with her. The first, it was the first death at the hospital. It's the first murder and death at the hospital. Yeah, there you go. Kind of like that. So pretty much here, I'm just saying that they're trapped here because they couldn't find their bodies, and that's kind of what Eric tried to trick him to let him show it. But by doing so, they showed their true nature. That he showed him pretty much what happened. Um, did my stream die? Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. I'm so sorry, guys, that my stream died. Um, we just got new internet. I don't know why it died. Literally waited all fucking day for it. But anywho, sorry about my language. So, yeah, okay. Let's do, let's see. So we'll put Steven manages to figure out where the dead body is. No, we already figured out. So we'll just say Steven drags the body to the front door. The doors are still locked. Eric comes back. He thought the fire would have stopped Eric, but it didn't work. Eric disguised Sally as himself. So he said he just. Oh, duh. Because we can't have Joe, Amir, and Sally appear because he killed. Who did he kill? Oh, no. Oh, no. No, he didn't do it yet. Eric comes in. Amir and burns Amir. So Amir is gone now. Here, Amir can't come back. I gotta make sure I have that correct. And Sally can't come back here. So it's just Joe. Okay, cool. Just making sure. Steven drags the body to the front door. The front door is still locked. Eric comes back. He thought he killed him, but he said Eric will pretty much say he disguised Sally as himself. He grabs his iron pipe and swings it. Eric vanishes. Joe is attacking Steven, cutting him all over. Mary appears and argues with the spirits. Steven looks outside to see the sun rising. He looks at all the blood he's losing. Mary is losing the battle, but realizes that if Mary is losing the battle, period, Steven realized that if he dies, he can give his soul power. Gives his soul power to Mary, and she can stop them and stop the murders. Her body will be found, and the power of Eric and his minions will be stopped. He cuts his wrist and dies. Mary tries to stop him, but allows the power. Jesus Christ. Apparently I did not know how to talk or write. Okay, let's say it again. Okay. But is too late. She absorbs his soul. Boom. She uses the last of her powers to think Eric is very. Oh. She absorbs his soul and then to get Joe to give up his soul. Okay, so we'll just do. It's gonna be a lot of. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, hold on. Let's see. So if I do scene one, it will be. Damn, I'm fucking hungry, to be honest. Steven drives the front board. So I can say scene two could be Joe's cutting him all over. Mary argues with Joe. So I narrate because Steven looks outside, sees that he looks at all the blood he's losing. Mary is losing the battle. Steven realized that if he died, he could stop it. And then scene 3 will be Steven cuts his wrists. He gets Steven cuts his wrists. Mary talks to him, so we'll have dialogue talks. Then like she absorbs his power and talks to Joe, and Joe gives up his power. She uses the last of her power to think. Oh, see. She defeats Eric. Period. She uses the last of her power to thank Eric. As a spirit. Thank Steven as a spirit and pushes him back into his body and comes alive. He gets the police there. I was really tired when I wrote this shit. The police arrive and he shows them the body, and Mary, Joe, Sally, and David Spirit smile and fade away. Okay, so I think I'm done. I changed it up. I added a little bit more. Sally doesn't talk. Joe does a lot of talking, but I can always change it and allow Amir to talk a little more, or allow Sally to talk a little more. That means that's no problem at all. It's no problem at all, folks. Let's see. My chat box is gone. I'm very sorry. Swear, dude, I'm just having a bad day. It's alright, though. My chat box got turned off because the stream ended, so I gotta log back into it. So, if you were talking, I'm very, very, very sorry, and that is my bad. I'm so sorry. So, I really hope that there we go. Okay, docs chat box. You can now pen chats. Okay. Okay, it's working. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so pretty much that's what I have to do, right? That is kind of what, how do I say it? Going forward with this story, I have to make sure that these are all coherent in the sense that it has to be very little. I keep looking at my freaking screen. These have to be really smaller, dramatic episodes where you only have 3 scenes, max 5 characters, and then you have to say briefly in a scene what happened. So the narrator has to say it, then a lot of dialogue banter, a little bit of narration, and then continue, and so on and so forth. So that story hopefully is what they're looking for. That would be really nice if that's that we can get going. So my next step right now is I am going to do it from my phone. I have to go to my drive, and we have to use a WhatsApp. So what I'm gonna do is Where's my drive? There it is. Go to Google Docs, and what I'm gonna do, I just have to click on the name of this called mental health, and I am going to pretty much select all, copy it. Everything changed. Okay, everything changed, and then I have to go and send it pretty much in WhatsApp um, back to the guy. Honestly, these guys are pissing me off a lot because they like to send thumbs up or like criticize a lot, which I'm good at taking criticism on the story. Um, yeah, yeah, like I get it. I get that they want it to be a drama series, and that's what I did. I made it a drama series. So, awesome sauce. Okay. I kind of like it. I just sent it to them, which means they won't get back. Last time they didn't get back to me until I said, "Excuse me." Like it was like 2 days. I'm like, "Excuse me," and yeah, it took them a little longer than it should have taken. Quite, I'm quite certain they should have done it beforehand. Cool. We'll check and get back. Thanks. Well, they said that last time also, and it did take them quite a while to get back to me. But okay, that's cool. I will now. What I do is I'll just continue. What the hell is it gonna do? I don't know. So now what I'm gonna do is I have another one. Now that I have to I had to rearrange this stuff. It's called the sacrifice. So I have to go and break it down more. But I put it. This will be scene one as the president tells them what to do to get Naomi. They accept the mission, and then we'll do. This will be scene two. This will be scene one. I know. Sorry, guys. I just realized it's not. There we go. So pretty much, President orders Dom and Luke to sneak into the enemy base to get them to start the mission. Pretty much, they have to get the daughter. Number two is Luke gets in Dean's face about the mission. Dean doesn't acknowledge him. They're dropped. Oh, so then scene three is pretty much they'll be talking, right? And then talking to the walk in, and a tiger appears. They're going to keep talking. He wants to kill him, but he lets him run away. Um, so pretty much what I'll do is it'll end with they run away, and then they end up at the compound and see the armed troopers. Just kind of end with like. You can just technically cut it, freeze it. The tiger runs away. Yeah, whatever, dude. And then they end up at the compound and see all the armed soldiers. Dominant sneak in through the air vent. We'll take that out. We don't need anything about the map. Scene one, they end up at the compound. They see the armed soldiers. Dom and Luke sneak into the air vent through and travel through it looking for Naomi. They overhear Captain telling about the prisoner getting ready for execution. They travel through the vents following the soldiers that lead them to the cell. And then we'll do scene two. They drop out of the vent, eliminate a soldier. They free Naomi. Another soldier sees them. Naomi signs to eliminate. Their father trained her since he took office. Now they need to do this. Dean talks about the weapons of destroyer. Luke gets in an argument with him. When a soldier hears and triggers the alarm. Perfect. That's all one. Oh, fuck. Sorry. That's all one scene. So with that, you can see that David called. Sorry, David. So you can see scene one will take place. They're going to be in the vent the whole time, like kind of like walking through it. Um, After they get through the vent, they're going to hear it. So there's still going to be a talking, and I'll be like they continue walking through it, and then they're talking. Then you'll hear a captain's voice through it saying, "Oh, we're going to execute the blah, 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 blah." So it's still one scene, and the drama and the dialogue between them and shit like that, right? Oops, scene V1, dude. What is going on? The alarm is ringing through the facility. Duke, and Naomi run through the compound heading for the evac site. Dad tells them that to go to helicopter pad and that it's an unmarked thing waiting for the rescue. They are surrounded by soldiers. Duke tells them to escape while he is the decoy. Dean runs at them while Naomi sneak into the vents and head to the helicopter pad. So yeah, so it'll have minimal amount. It'll pretty much be narrator setting up the scene. I'll be setting up the scene for the narrator, right? So I'll be like, okay, the alarm is ringing, entire place, and while they're going through it, they're talking. So like, yeah, they're walking and running and talking. And then we're building up the drama, like, oh, like we got to get back here, Dean, like this is what happened, just build up the arguments and stuff like that because they don't trust it. Scene two will be while he was being chased. I'd say while being chased, Dean is putting explosives all over the structure. Captain comes over the intercom and warns them that they will be found and tortured alive for the whole world to see, so the world can see the treachery of the Americans, and that's where it ends. Yeah. So, and that just goes on the point of like when you're looking at this, when you're trying to go forward with the story, that's all about drama. This is what you have to look at. Um, so yeah, one momento, un momento.